While most of the world goes about daily life unaware, the United States Navy is fighting a war no one talks about. Drug submarines packed with cocaine try to sneak past Navy ships and helicopters armed with machine guns. These missions rarely make headlines despite involving billions of dollars linked to drug cartels. Let's find out how the United States Navy wiped out cartels using the hammer. The evolution of narco submarine. This is the underwater drug war that authorities discovered operating beneath the world's ocean. The investigation into narco submarines began when intelligence agencies realized drug trafficking had evolved far beyond speedboats and concealed cargo. These vessels often travel beneath the surface, making them difficult to detect by standard radar systems, with each journey transporting enough cocaine to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in profit. These drug submarines didn't appear overnight. Back in the 1980s, Colombian cartels started with simple underwater tubes they would tow behind boats. By the 1990s, drug trafficking operations had advanced to using self-powered submarines constructed in concealed workshops located deep within the Colombian jungle. Constructed primarily from fiberglass and wood, these vessels were assembled in remote, muddy clearings under dense jungle canopy, helping to conceal them from aerial and satellite surveillance. Today's narco submarines represent significant engineering achievements despite being built by individuals without formal training. These vessels, often around 80 feet in length, are capable of traveling up to 2,500 miles without refueling. They can transport as much as 10 tons of narcotic while remaining mostly submerged to evade detection. A typical crew consists of 5 individuals who endure extended periods in confined, overheated spaces with minimal amenities. These submarines typically cost between $1 million and $2 million to construct, yet they are capable of transporting cargo valued at more than $150 million. Despite the risk of interception, the potential profit makes them a highly attractive option for drug trafficking operation. The most recent models are increasingly difficult to detect. They are often painted in blue-gray tones to blend with the surrounding ocean and are built with streamlined shapes that minimize wake during movement. In some cases, they are equipped with lead lining to reduce heat emissions, making them less visible to military aircraft using thermal imaging. A key challenge for law enforcement is their scuttle feature, specialized valves that can flood the submarine within minutes if authorities approach, allowing the vessel and its cargo to sink rapidly to the ocean floor in waters thousands of feet deep, where recovery is nearly impossible. In 2024, Operation Orion demonstrated the extent of these submarines' technological advancement when one was intercepted en route to Australia. The vessel had traveled more than 10,000 miles across the Pacific Ocean. This was not only an indication of a new trafficking corridor, but also clear evidence that drug cartels had developed the capability for extended long-distance submarine operations. The ongoing battle between drug cartels and military forces continues to evolve in a complex cycle of adaptation. For every design advancement made by the cartel, military agencies respond with updated detection technology. Current methods include thermal imaging, drone surveillance, and artificial intelligence-based pattern recognition, all aimed at identifying the faint wake or minimal heat signatures produced by these vessels. Still, for each narco submarine intercepted, intelligence experts estimate that 3 or 4 succeed in delivering valuable cargo and sustaining the vast drug trade that stretches across continent. Operation Martillo, the hammer strikes. This challenge led to the creation of Operation Martillo, the largest drug bust campaign in history. As drug cartels became too powerful for any single nation to manage, the world decided to collaborate. In January 2012, an alliance was formed with a strong name for a challenging mission, Operation Martillo, meaning hammer in Spanish. 14 countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Spain, Guatemala, and Honduras, joined forces. Operation Martillo was not just another failed drug war initiative. It targeted the cartels where it hurt most. Their shipping routes, military ships, aircraft, and special forces patrolled the waters between South America and the United States, creating a formidable barrier for drug shipments to navigate. The results were swift. In the first year alone, authorities arrested 339 smugglers and seized 101 boats carrying drug. In 2011, the operation confiscated 119 tons of cocaine, worth an estimated $2.35 billion on American streets. Authorities also seized $21 million in cash heading back to the cartels, and $16 million worth of goods used to conceal or transport the drug. Operation Martillo was only the beginning. In late 2024, Operation Orion took the multinational effort to a new level. This time, 62 countries participated, ranging from small nations with limited coastlines to major powers with large navies. Over 6 intense weeks, they shared intelligence, tracked suspicious vessels, and intercepted drug shipments across global waters. No previous drug operation had matched the success of Orion. The operation seized 225 tons of cocaine in one sweep, a world record. When combined with more than 1,000 tons of marijuana and other drugs, the total haul exceeded $8.5 billion in street value. Each country brought distinct strengths to the effort. The Americans provided advanced radar system capable of detecting small boat wakes from satellite. The Dutch contributed underwater drones to inspect ships. Colombian forces used their expertise to locate launch sites in the jungle. What made Orion revolutionary was not just its scale, but its advanced coordination. Military commanders from numerous countries collaborated in real-time command centers, sharing live intelligence and executing raids across multiple time zones simultaneously. When smugglers attempted to alter their routes after hearing about a bust, they would end up sailing into another country's patrol zone. These operations did more than remove drugs from the streets. They collected valuable intelligence. Each captured sailor, boat, and communication device offered new insights into cartel operation. The cartel's deadly fleet. Drug traffickers don't just use any boats to transport their illegal cargo. They've developed a formidable fleet that could rival some navies. At the core of this criminal fleet are two very different yet equally dangerous vessels: lightning-fast speedboats and stealthy underwater submarines. The speedboats, known as go-fasts in the drug world, are the traditional workhorses for cocaine delivery. These 30-foot boats are powered by 3 or 4 outboard motors, each with 250 horsepower. It's like attaching multiple sports car engines to the back of a small boat. These engines propel the boats to speeds exceeding 80 miles per hour, making them nearly impossible to catch in a direct pursuit. Go-fasts maintain a low profile in the water, often painted blue to blend with the ocean. They typically carry only one driver, maximizing space for fuel and drugs. 2,000 gallons of extra fuel tank. These boats can travel over 500 miles without stopping, enough to cover distances like Colombia to Jamaica or the Bahamas to Florida. What makes these boats particularly dangerous is their history. They weren't created by drug dealers. They were originally used by rum runners during American Prohibition in the 1920s and 1930s. Those early smugglers perfected the design to outrun Coast Guard ships, and modern drug traffickers have simply updated the concept with newer technology. To combat these speed demons, the Coast Guard formed specialized teams called HITRON, short for Helicopter Interdiction Tactical Squadron. These teams operate MH-65D Dolphin helicopters equipped with machine guns and sniper rifles. When they spot a go-fast, they don't attempt to outrun it. Instead, they swoop down from above using loudspeakers to instruct the boat to stop. If the boat continues fleeing, HITRON snipers target the vessel's engines with precise shots from their .50 caliber rifles, disabling the boat without harming those on board. These tactics have become so effective that drug cartels now hide their go-fasts in plain sight. They disguise them as fishing boats with fake equipment, or create special compartments below the waterline to hold cocaine packages, making the boat appear empty if inspected. Some cartels have even developed hybrid boats that combine go-fast speed with submarine stealth, known as low-profile vessels. These boats sit so low in the water that only a small part is visible above the surface. The USS Cutter James mission. In early 2025, one ship instilled fear in drug lords across South America. The United States Coast Guard Cutter James became a floating nightmare for cartels during a relentless 112-day mission that drug kingpins still discuss in hushed tone. The Cutter James is no ordinary vessel. At 418 feet long, this Legend-class cutter is like a floating city with one purpose: hunting down drug smugglers. It carries a crew of 150 highly trained personnel who work in shifts around the clock. The ship can remain at sea for months without returning to port, making it the perfect predator for tracking drug routes. What made the 2025 mission extraordinary was its remarkable success. In just under 4 months, This single ship seized over 48,000 pounds of narcotics, enough to supply a mid-sized American city for a year. The street value reached approximately $510 million. The January operations were particularly impressive. On January 5th, the ship's crew launched a drone that spotted a suspicious vessel off Ecuador's coast. Unlike regular military drones, the Coast Guard uses special maritime models that can fly for 18 hours straight, while carrying advanced cameras capable of reading a boat's name from miles away. The drone silently tracked the vessel from high above until boarding teams swooped in, catching 3 smugglers with over 2,250 pounds of cocaine. Just one day later, on January 6th, they hit the jackpot. Maritime patrol aircraft working with the cutter James spotted 3 go-fast boats traveling together, an unusual and risky move for smuggler. Using their helicopter teams, they managed to stop all 3 boats in a perfectly coordinated operation, capturing 9 suspects and an enormous haul of 13,960 pounds of cocaine. The smugglers changed tactics on January 7th, deploying a low-profile vessel specifically designed to avoid radar detection, but the HITRON helicopter crew was ready. Using precision shooting skills, they disabled the boat's engines without harming the crew. Another 8,240 pounds of cocaine never made it to American streets. When smugglers tried to escape capture by dumping their cargo on January 18th, the cutter James didn't give up. Its high-speed pursuit boats chased down the smugglers, while other team members retrieved the floating drug packages from the sea. The recovered cargo, nearly 6,000 pounds of cocaine, would have brought cartels millions in profits. The Navy joined forces as well. Ships like the USS Minneapolis-St. Paul and USS St. Louis conducted their own busts in the Caribbean. JIATF South, the command center, hidden away in Key West, Florida, is a building that appears ordinary from the outside. Inside, however, an elite team leads what may be the most successful drug-fighting operation in the world. Welcome to JIATF South, the Joint Interagency Task Force South, where America's drug war is orchestrated by some of the smartest military and law enforcement experts. JIATF South is where information from dozens of countries and agencies converges to catch drug smugglers in the act. Consider it the ultimate control center for drug interdiction, a place where satellite images, radar data, ship locations, and confidential intelligence are combined to track down the criminals. What makes JIATF truly unique is how it brings together individuals who typically don't work side by side. FBI agents sit next to Navy officers. Defense Intelligence Agency specialists collaborate with Coast Guard commanders. CIA analysts exchange information with customs officers. With representatives from foreign countries included, the team gets a complete view, not just fragments of it. The command center itself resembles something from a movie, a vast room with large screens displaying maps of the Caribbean and Pacific, dots representing every boat, plane, and submarine in the area. Specially trained analysts monitor these screens around the clock, searching for suspicious movements. When JIATF spots something suspicious, they don't need approval to act. They have direct control over ships, planes, and helicopters on standby. This fast response is critical as drug boats can vanish in minutes if they realize they've been spotted. One of JIATF's secret weapons is the LEDET team, law enforcement detachment units from the Coast Guard. These small groups of highly trained personnel get placed on Navy warships, turning military vessels into drug-fighting machines. Despite the cartel's advanced technology and constantly evolving tactics, the coordinated efforts of Operation Martillo, Operation Orion, specialized vessels like the USS Cutter James, and command centers like JIATF South have dealt devastating blows to drug trafficking organizations. The seizure of billions of dollars worth of narcotics and the arrest of hundreds of smugglers demonstrate that while the war on drugs continues, the hammer has struck hard against cartel operation. As a result, drug cartels have been forced to adapt their methods repeatedly, facing increased costs, higher risks, and significantly reduced profit margin. The message from these operations is clear. The open seas are no longer safe havens for drug traffickers, regardless of how advanced their submarines or how fast their speedboats may be. Now, before you leave, just don't forget to give this video a like, smash that subscribe button, and also ring that notification bell while you're down there.